Good morning, Bucknutters. It's Thursday, May 16th, 2024. I am Dan Rubin. This is the Bucknuts Morning 5 and change. Got a great show for you today. The sun is actually shining in the state of Ohio. Good for Mark Porter as his trip to basically see every single high school along with all the college coaches. Today's the last day. He will be reporting live, I think, from Nordonia High School, or as we like to call it, Denzel Ward High. But still, the dean will be here, and we will get into it. But first, you know what's happening. It's the summer. Got to look good. Hey there, beach babes. Are you ready to soak up those summer vibes and unveil your ultimate beach bod? Well, you're in luck because our friends over at Manscaped have you covered from head to toe. With the Performance Package 5.0 Ultra, this ultimate all-in-one grooming kit is set to have you looking and feeling your best in the summer sun. Trust Manscaped and unlock the confidence you need to turn heads this season. Join the 10 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped.com for 20% off plus free shipping with the code BUCKNUTS. Let's make this summer your smoothest one yet. And surprise, your purchase comes with free Boxers 2.0 Midnight Bravo, comfort and style that fit like a dream. Once again, get 20% off plus free shipping with the code BUCKNUTS at manscaped.com. That's 20% off plus free shipping with the code BUCKNUTS at manscaped.com. I will say the company does an amazing work with charity and testicular cancer. Look what they do. So your donations are not only cleaning yourself up, you are donating to a company or purchasing from a company that does a lot of great stuff. And speaking of great stuff from a great company, it's Bucknuts, people. Look who we got. We got the dean from the palatial Dean Estate. And where would Mark Porter be if he was not on the road? Mark, is that Nordonia High School or is that Walsh Jesuit?
Nordonia was the second stop of the day. This is Walsh Jesuit right now. And I'll give you a little peek. The coaches are walking in down here. They're getting fed some Dunkin' Donuts and some coffee. And you can see the group is about to start here at 9 a.m. and a ton of college coaches on hand this morning. St. Ed's really got things started off with a bang. Coach Matt Guerreri was there to check out the players on hand. There are a ton of young players at St. Ed's. You know about the Armstrong twins and Ben Roebuck graduating and a few other of those linemen graduating. 5 brand new linemen, 5 kids to know about. A lot of skill guys. Brandon White's one of the featured skill guys at St. Ed's. Coach Fry was over at St. Ignatius this morning. He wasn't at St. Ed's, checking out Will Conroy, and they had a freshman offensive lineman starting for St. Ignatius this year. I'm sure he was looking at him. The Walsh Jesuit, after this today, I get to go to Akron-Hoban, and I will be looking for their offensive lineman that has been tough to sight. He's like a Bigfoot. You know, he's only got a few games in here, so today I should get some good footage of him. But then we're going to go later on to Wadsworth, Camp McKinley, and Massillon. And I will be so happy when Massillon's over. It will be the end of my journey on the road here. And I tell you what, it's been a long journey on the road. This has been 3 weeks, and I think I've been to about 75 high schools. I keep telling you I have video. I promise I'll give you the best video in the world when it comes to this recruiting. We have some great footage of some top players.
And just so you know, that is not hyperbole. I think Mark has actually been to 75 high schools. Each day.
Literally.
Right. So what's going on here, just to summarize, there's been a tour all across the state, and each day it's lined up high school after high school in a certain area. They've done Southwest Ohio. They've done Northeast Ohio. They've done this area, it seems, several times, and they saved some big hitters for the end, which is cool. But Mark will have all of the video. And keep in mind, a lot of the information that we have here, it comes through inside sources, and a lot of those insiders are on the field with Mark as we go here. Who have you seen that has really jumped out to you? Put it this way. Do you think this tour, at least for you, has unearthed guys you think Ohio State will be very, very interested in?
Yes, I do. And I think Toledo Whitmer, I wanted to see Carter Lowe work out the other night, and he did not work out. That was a little bit of a disappointment. But he had like a little JV version of himself that came over from a different high school. I'll be featuring him in one of my video breakdowns. Jemison from Toledo Whitmer was a guy that was a long linebacker that really looked good. We'll have to take a second look at him. I'm trying to think of some of the other schools in the Toledo area. Central Catholic, Victor Singleton had a crowd of defensive or coaches following him around, just watching his feet. Toledo Central Catholic has a few young wideouts and some big offensive linemen. Probably not Ohio State caliber, but yeah, when I give you this breakdown, there will be players that, that when you flip over a few extra rocks, we'll be talking about later this summer. And then I'm sure they're getting invited to Ohio State's camp to do what they're doing today in front of the Ohio State coaches to prove their legitimacy. As I fade away from here today, I'm going to leave this on and mute it, and I'm actually going to take you guys down to the drills. So if you leave my screen on, you'll be able to watch some of these drills. I may even go stand behind some college coaches and let you get an idea of exactly what they're watching. So, as you guys are talking, you at least have something in my screen to kind of look at.
Yep, and Mark will be back to chat Tuesday. Like we said, he probably has to do some kind of intense rehab to get back and spend some quality family time as he's neglected his family time at our expense, for us. So we appreciate that. So Mark, we will let you go.
You know what? I was going to say, I should add that tomorrow I am driving to Maryland to the Under Armour campus to see the best 8th graders in the entire country. So we may have an 8th grader or two that we're talking about next week. So this journey doesn't end. That's just a little easier than doing 10 of these in one day.
When a guy's traveling 3 states and is thankful that he's been on the gauntlet. Mark, you're the best. We will keep you on as kind of a video in the background, but go do your magic. Bill, as we get started here, I feel I need to make a public service announcement. On Tuesday's show, I don't know if you remember this, Bill, I said that Jameer Brown, the speedster out of Wayne, was so fast that he probably didn't have to play high school football and he could still get an offer. There are some of you that take things a little too literally that got very upset by this. Let me repeat, I am in no way saying this guy should do that. If you note, I also said I would be going to several Wayne games this year, and why would I want to go if Jameer Brown wasn't playing? I really was just trying to get across how unbelievably fast this guy is. He may be the fastest person they have ever recruited. Think about that. His track times are better than Jaden Ballard's track times when Jaden Ballard was a senior. And Jaden Ballard, I heard on this show yesterday, still regarded as the fastest receiver at Ohio State. Jameer Brown won the national championship among freshmen in the 60 and indoor. I was only trying to get across the gravity of his speed and the fact that he is among fast people. He is the fastest. This is not regular speed. This is a guy who could run on the 4x100 team for the United States. I hope and recommend that he plays football another 3 years at Wayne and then goes to Ohio State. I did not really mean that he shouldn't play football. You guys got to stop taking things so literally. The show is called Bucknuts. It's not Buck Rational Observers. We're just trying to get some stuff across here. All right, Bill. I feel like I cleared that up. And also, one more thing people said. I never said there shouldn't be a quarterback competition. I just said I think Will Howard will be the starter. Okay, now that we have that for the record. William, how goes it? You have a ton of stuff on the site right now. Really, you are in your groove. If you are not a premium member and not getting all of the Dean, you are doing things wrong. Trust me on this. But I think one thing everybody wants here at Ohio State more than anything else, Bill, is quality offensive linemen. So I'm going to give you the floor, and you're going to tell us about all the new guys who they've offered, all the different names. And I will tell you what, it does seem like Ohio State is really trying to delve deep into the SEC territory to get some big fellas. Take it away, Bill.
Well, as we talked about pre-show, they are casting a wider and wider and wider net as each day goes by when it comes to offensive linemen. Keep in mind that they weren't really in need of numbers going into this recruiting cycle, 2025, but they have to make sure they have the numbers. And Enoch Vihami, of course, got in the transfer portal. So that opened up another scholarship. So it looked like initially they were going to go for 3, maybe stretch it to 4 offensive linemen in the 2025 class. But now, I think 3 is a necessity. 4 is a very real possibility. I wouldn't even count out 5 even. I think, though, the target number would probably be 4. But one thing I've always, having done this for a long time, kind of, I don't know if I'd say prided myself, but at least thought I did an okay job at, was just keeping in mind the names of guys, without looking at any lists. Well, the list of offensive linemen now for Ohio State has gotten so long that I might have to take a quick look at my cheat list here on my desk, because as we were talking about it, I think I've now got to 12 offensive linemen that Ohio State has offered a scholarship. A little sound there, Mark.
Go ahead, Bill.
I think that I've gotten to 12 now offensive linemen that Ohio State has offered a scholarship to, that have either made official visits, or I should say will make official visits to Ohio State, got them scheduled, or very possibly will make official visits to Ohio State. So we're up to 12. And that doesn't include guys that they offered that are really no longer in the picture. We're talking about 12 guys right now that are absolutely in the picture. And then we got a couple other ones that could be in the picture. So the list is growing. And as we talked about, they offered this morning another one, Zaire Addison out of Riverview, Florida, Sumner, Florida, or I should say Riverview, Sumner High School in Riverview, Florida. They offered him this morning. He's pretty highly regarded. He's got the big offers, as Dan was pleased to know. He's got a Georgia offer.
That's all I look for, Bill.
Alabama, not so much anymore, but he's got that offer. He had an official visit to UCLA. He's got official visits set to Florida, Oregon, Penn State, and Florida State. His list is very impressive. So that's another offer that Ohio State has made. Earlier this week, they offered Mario Nash from Mississippi, that is going to visit Ohio State next weekend. Caden Strayhorn, I had this on our site last night. I think it was around 9 o'clock last night or so, that Caden Strayhorn has scheduled an official visit to Ohio State now. So, and you go back and look, and I'm going to look at my cheat list here. I don't have to look for this name, but you go back and look. They've got David Sanders, of course, still at the very top of the list. Josh Petty is another one that tells me he is working on scheduling an official visit to Ohio State. Douglas Utu, Jackson Lloyd, who tells me he is planning an official visit to Ohio State. We've got Micah DeBose, who has an official visit scheduled to Ohio State. Andrew Stargell, who was at Ohio State last weekend, has been offered by Ohio State, making an official visit. Henry Fanuku, who Ohio State has offered a scholarship to. Joshua Blackston told me this week he's got an official visit scheduled to Ohio State. Javon McFadden is another one that they've long been looking at. And then you've got guys like Jake Cook, who was impressive when we saw him at the in Canton at the Hall of Fame. He's back on the list now. Not been offered yet, but he's on the list. So, it is truly an impressive and a list that we want to keep track of.
Jermaine Runnels, one of our best. Any Sanders updates? Bill's been on all over this, but I would tell you also, our other guy in the Midwest who's got some more national vibes working now. Hold on one sec.
You guys want me to talk for a second?
Hold on one sec. Tom Loy is one to follow for sure on the David Sanders recruitment. He is all over it. I would encourage everybody to go watch yesterday's college recruiting show on 24/7 Sports. They go into detail on a lot of guys who are left in the class of 2025, the elite guys that haven't committed yet. They go into detail on Jamie French. They go into detail on David Sanders. They go into detail on several dudes that Ohio State is in the mix for. I would very much encourage you to listen to that. I also think you'll like what he has to hear. Okay.
Which,
Mark,
by the way, somebody said an update on David Sanders. He's visiting Georgia this weekend. That is not an official visit, but nonetheless, he's visiting Georgia along with a guy that I put a story on our site first thing this morning, Trey McNutt, the safety, number one safety in the country from Shaker Heights. He is visiting Georgia this weekend. Again, an unofficial visit, and then Trey will start his official visits. But Georgia's having a boatload of guys visit there this weekend. So huge weekend for them. And I also want to mention, you mentioned Tom Loy and our national guys. We have a fantastic, you don't get any better than the team of national guys that we have at 247 Sports, from Tom Loy to the West Coast. You got Brandon Huffman and Greg Biggins and those guys, Blair Angulo. And, you know, I'll miss Alan True here in the Midwest. You've got Brian Doan on the East Coast, and I'm going to
don't sleep on Anna Adams in the South, Bill.
Adams, yep. We've got a fantastic. Nobody has a better national team than 247 Sports.
No, we're very fortunate. We're also fortunate for the Grand Poobah. Take it away, Mark.
Okay, I was just going to give you guys a little bit of a roll call in case you were wondering who all these people are who are standing behind. I'm pretty sure you can see it, but starting over here, I'm just going to say like Baldwin Wallace, Toledo, Central Michigan, Cincinnati, Hillsdale, Columbia, Kentucky, UMass, John Carroll, Miami of Ohio, Mercyhurst, basically every single MAC school, Case Western Reserve, Grand Valley State, Miami of Ohio, again, Robert Morris, Eastern Michigan, Ohio Wesleyan, Ohio Northern, Ashland, and I haven't even named all of them, but all those people standing there, that's kind of the herd or the caravan that goes from school to school. So I don't know if anyone else is bringing you that type of live information, but you can see it all right behind me. So, yeah, good job. I'm kind of listening to you guys as I'm watching these guys go through drills here. And I mean, if I was to take the sound off, you could hear their shuttle times, you could hear their 40 times, and this is a real great way to evaluate players.
And there's no question Ohio is such a fertile ground for recruiting. If you look at any roster at any level, really within 3 states of Ohio, there's always a group of Ohio dudes in there, man. Everyone knows if you get a kid from Ohio, he's most likely going to be well coached and love football, which is a good start. Stay on your feet there, son. All right. I'm going to mute Mark. I'm going to mute you also again here just so we can get to chatting. I'm probably going to read, I think I'll just read our second ad. And it's time for, I know Mark doesn't have these on now, but he could be rocking the Gooders. Rock these Gooders, man. You are just in shape. The Dean rocks. You should see the Dean's sunglass collection. It's impressive. But why Gooders? They're stylish sunnies starting at only $25 a pair. I've been to multiple Ohio State games with my sweet prescription sunglasses. You get like a noon kickoff, and by 6 o'clock, I have no idea where those things are, and I'm out X dollars. Now I have several pairs of Gooders to address the fact that I'm a knucklehead, and there may be some more of you on here who have lost a good pair of glasses at an outing. They have no slip, no bounce, all Polaroids, all fun. 50,000, Bill. 5-star reviews, a 1-year warranty. 30-day free returns, no slip, no bounce. They're 100% polarized, only $25. They're so affordable. Like I said, I never worry about losing or breaking them. They're kind of fun. Like I said, these are called Call Me Tarmac Daddies, which brings me back to my goal of getting on Bucknuts 1 for the trip to Eugene in October. I don't know if I can pull that off. If I do, I will take a picture from the tarmac in my Call Me Tarmac Daddies. You can only hope. If you want to support the show and try a pair, Gooder is giving Bucknuts Morning 5 listeners free shipping. You can go to gooder.com/Bucknuts and use code Bucknuts for free shipping. Gooder offers a 30-day money-back guarantee and 100% satisfaction. Again, that's Gooder, GOODR.com/Bucknuts, and use code Bucknuts for free shipping. All right, William. I wanted to ask you about Trey McNutt. You kind of helped me out there by getting ahead of it. Very interesting kind of recruitment here. If you were to read his stuff or read what he says, I don't think you get the sense that he's an alum, an alum or what would you say? His folks are alum, and he's
Legacy.
an Ohio guy. It just doesn't feel legacy. Excuse me. It doesn't really feel that way with him. I don't know if that's the recruitment not getting off to the start it should have or needed to, but it just seems like he's a little reticent. Am I misreading that? What's your vibe on the whole thing, given the fact you've talked to every Ohio target in the last 30-odd years?
Yeah, actually, it's kind of funny. I was talking with Trey last night. And we were talking. We were just talking a little bit, not necessarily all about recruiting. And I kind of joked with him. I said that, well, not really a joke, but if you've seen somebody on the field for Ohio State in the last 35 plus years, I talked to that kid in high school. So,
Sure.
I got a haircut, not so as not to show the gray anymore, but no, Trey, his dad, obviously, Richard, was a very good player for Ohio State. And I know Richard well. In fact, the night I saw Trey play at Shaker Heights this past season, Richard was on the sideline, and we talked about old times and all that back when I talked with him when he was being recruited. But he is from Illinois, Richard is, and he now is in Tennessee. He is on Eddie George's staff. He is a coach on Eddie George's staff at Tennessee State. So I think, Trey has grown up getting the whole look at the recruiting scene, process, schools, all that. So he is really taking a good look and evaluating schools nationally. He is going to visit Georgia this weekend. Then we'll start official visits. He said that unless something changes, and I don't think it will, this will be his last unofficial visit. And then he's going to start a string of official visits, and he will begin with those official visits May 31st. He hasn't released any of the schools for sure that he will make official visits to, except he has told me one of them will be to Ohio State. He hasn't released any of the dates yet. He's going to just do it one by one, and a lot of kids do that nowadays. They release their official visits one by one. Hey, I'll be visiting this school this weekend, that type of thing. And then he will go through the recruiting process. The interesting thing is, don't expect an early decision unless something changes. He told me last night that he has as a plan to probably take things slow, not rush into any decision, and then announce his decision sometime during the football season. So when he gets done with those official visits, and maybe he's not going to be done at the end of June, maybe he'll take one during the season. There's no limit of 5 anymore. But when he gets done with the June official visits he plans to take, don't expect a quick decision or a quick announcement unless something changes. That's not his not his thoughts right now.
I'm not sure I'm not sure how I feel about this one, Bill. I don't know how it's going to end up, but I don't know. It just is a little weird to me, but I digress. All right, there's some names we've been asked about here. I want to go rapid fire to finish the show here, Bill. I will give you a name, and you just give me like the quickest update you possibly can in the way the dean does it. First name, and some of these you've all heard before. Dorian Brew, former Northmont standout, I believe now in Conroe, Texas. Your vibe on the defensive back. Something could be a safety, something could be a corner.
Well, Ohio State is recruiting him most schools a little bit more as a corner. I think he could be great at either one. He is going to make an official visit to Ohio State. Had he made his announcement back, I think it was in April, when he originally was going to, I felt really confident that it was going to be Ohio State. If I had to make a prediction right now, I'd probably still go with the Buckeyes, but that was not a done deal. He's going to take his visits and look at the schools.
So no real change there. Running back, Bo Jackson. Running back has been a very interesting offseason topic. We have offered, I can't remember, Bill, Ohio State giving out this many offers at running back. And I know we've changed running back coaches to lock, but still, your thoughts on Bo Jackson and maybe if there's been any change in your vibe on how running back will turn out for the class of 2025. Everyone wants to know 2 or 3, Bill.
Well, again, I've got him crystal ball to Ohio State, and I haven't switched that pick, but he's going to take his 4 official visits. He's got it down to 4, and And I see Georgia and Alabama as real threats to Ohio State. We've talked about Isaiah West. I've got him crystal ball to Ohio State. I really feel good about that crystal ball. In Jordan Davison, him crystal ball to Ohio State. They will take 3. Now, with Isaiah West in the picture, and I think going to be in the class, will all 3 guys decide, well, they want to be a part of a 3 running back class? That to me is the question mark at this point.
Interesting. Boy, that'd be really interesting to see a running back from Ohio go down to Georgia or Alabama. I'm hard pressed to remember the last one that did that. I know we've sent a couple of Cincy kids to LSU, but can you remember a running back from Ohio going to Georgia or Alabama, Bill? I can't.
Not right offhand, but I didn't take my Prevagen this morning. I'm just joking. I do not take anything for memory.
That's funny. All right. Another name, Justin Hill, the jack of all trades, as it were, star out of Cincinnati.
I still like Hill for the Buckeyes. He's going to take his visits. He's going to announce on his birthday in early July, and I still like where Ohio State stands with him.
Sincere Johnson.
2026 defensive end edge out of Cleveland. Glenville. Hadn't gotten an offer from Ohio State yet. We'll see if that happens. He's going to camp with the Buckeyes this summer, and we'll see. He'll look to earn an offer from Ohio State at that point. He does have a Notre Dame offer, by the way.
I wouldn't be surprised if Sincere Johnson ends up in the class, Bill. I'll just say that.
And by the way, his brother is at Kentucky. His brother Freddie signed. Well, he's not there yet, but his brother is a 2024 guy that signed as an offensive lineman with Kentucky.
The grocery bill in that household, large. Those are some big boys now. Are you kidding me? All right, another name and a guy who really passes the eye test, Bill, and that is defensive end Damian Shanklin.
Yeah, he's got his official visits set too. One of them is to Ohio State. I know that Ohio State presented him a very good-looking package of what Ohio State can offer and all. And I like Ohio State in that one as of now. It's interesting, though. They've already got 2 defensive ends committed, Zaire Mathis and London Merritt. How many did they take? Justin Hill is a jack guy, linebacker, defensive end, rush guy. Just put him out there and let him go get the quarterback. He's that good. And I've got him in the class. You've got Marion Dye from Indiana. You got Damian Shanklin. You got a couple others. So the positions at that spot are, I think, going to go to very good players, and they're not going to dawdle until the middle of the football season.
Last name that we were asked about, Brandon Caesar.
Yeah, he's another one of those defensive end guys that's in the mix, got an offer from Ohio State. The thing that makes me reticent about him is that Ohio State has tried to get him back on campus, and he was going to be back on campus on a couple different occasions, including the Ohio State spring game, but he never seems to make it to Ohio State. So that one, it makes me think Ohio State may not be his final destination.
Getting it right in under the tape here. Christopher Sowers wants to know anything on Jakeem Stewart. He, the defensive tackle that we hyped up tremendously on the Tuesday show. He's basically the second coming of Chris Jones of the Chiefs. Are they in the mix?
Alonzo Spellman as well. I like that comparison too. Larry Johnson was recently at his high school, Jakeem, in Louisiana. He is a guy that it's going to be very interesting. Again, the smoke is still out there that he may reclassify to the class of 2025. And, he's that good. He absolutely could reclassify and go anywhere he wants in the country and probably get to play as a true freshman reclassified. He's that good. Ohio State is still very much in the running. He likes Ohio State quite a bit. At the time, he told me that Ohio State was the best visit he had been on. Now, he's continued to take visits since then, but the Buckeyes are absolutely a player then. And the thing to watch right now, at least in my mind with him, is does he reclassify?
I'm going to guess that he does, Bill. I think he's in this era. You are, and I hesitate to say this given the way people reacted to my Jameer Brown comments, but you're just a day close or a year closer to the check, both in your NIL, and he is the kind of guy that needs to get into college and get out and get into getting paid as a pro. There are certain people put on this earth to play pro football. Jakeem Stewart is one of those human beings. He is they just don't have many people on planet Earth like that. So very, very impressive. Like I said, I really encourage you guys to also go listen to the 24/7 Sports recruiting show that happened yesterday with Tom Loy, also Cooper Patagna and Andrew Ivins. Very interesting discussion there about wide receiver recruiting, and that it does seem now that in the class, everyone waits for the wide receivers to choose Ohio State and then fall in line after that. No one commits. So it's like Duke basketball. They don't recruit, they select. That's how they're doing it at Ohio State at receiver. And then there's also great stuff on David Sanders in there and a bunch of other stuff. We still have the Dean. We'll be back on Tuesday. It should be a good weekend of stuff. And Mark will be back, hopefully recovered from his excellent adventure across the state. We appreciate y'all stopping by. Have a good one, Bucknutters.